Hey everyone, Marissa here. I am really excited to offer you guys this reading. I want to keep these a bit shorter, so I'm going to do my best to let these messages be extremely concise. These readings are on what others envy about you. So 3 piles to choose from today. You can pause the video if you feel guided to. And I am going to be using a combination of tarot cards as well as 2 archetype cards came out organically for each pile. So we're going to get right into it. What's up, pile number 1? We're going to get straight into your reading for what do others envy about you. I'm going to do tarot real time with you guys. I just pre-shuffled the deck. I'm going to draw cards as we go along. So first we have for what others are envious about you. We have the Temple and we have the STARBORN. I mean, I always love when these types of cards come up because I'm like, yes, these are the type of people drawn to my channel. So, I mean, the STARBORN card is honestly pretty, I feel like pretty self-explanatory. I feel like something that others envy about you is even if you guys don't really try, you guys always somehow end up being in the spotlight, or you guys are one of those, the type of individual that no matter where you go, you have people putting you in the limelight, or you make your way to the top, whatever, take that however it means. But I'm just feeling and I'm just seeing an individual that no matter where they go or what they're doing, even if it's a circumstance that they didn't necessarily choose for themselves, take that how it resonates, that somehow you guys always end up at the top, or you end up standing out in some way. I just hear that it is a part of the codes that you carry within this lifetime. I'm also hearing that this is a group of old to advanced souls, maybe even some transitioning souls between, baby souls, new souls into old souls. So, another word for that would be mature souls. So ultimately what I'm getting from this group, especially with the Temple here, is that you guys end up being in the limelight because you don't try. And even if there are some cords of unworthiness that you're trying to kink out within this lifetime, and you're doing things because you don't want to not do something because you're afraid of it or whatever, right? Whatever your motivations are, I feel like ultimately you are the type of individual where you just want to experience yourself in a certain light. You want to experience freedom. You want to experience confidence. You want to experience this not so other people can gawk at you and envy you in any way, which is interesting that this is the type of reading that you were called upon or called to check out, right? You guys are probably the individuals that you don't want people to envy you, but maybe people, you get this kind of weird cold shoulder from individuals because it's like you are so bright and you stand out no matter where you go. It's that people can't help but compare themselves to you. It's like you are not meant to play it small. You carry the codes. I'm hearing that a lot of the beings that grew up around you, or just like adults when you were younger, probably could sense that you were here for big things, or that you were going to do big things within your lifetime or within this incarnation. The Temple represents, that could be your body, that could be where you go to worship. Ultimately, I feel like what this is saying, what I'm hearing this is saying, is that ultimately you have a devotion to your highest timeline. You have a devotion to humanity. You have a devotion to freeing yourself, because you understand that as you do that inner work, you can't help but exude that to other beings as well. So others' envy about you is that you make things look so easy. Now I'm saying this is how you make it look. I'm not saying that might be your experience of it, but you guys are the type of being that you bounce back up extremely quickly. So nothing can keep you down. And I am hearing that when you have fallen, there have been beings that are like, oh yes, they're human. They're just as human, but then you rise 18 times, taller than you were before. So we have the 9 of Cups. So people are envious about you because you literally seem to have it all. You seem to be an individual. Not only do you have it, everything seem to be going good for you on the outside. We're all kind of in this era where we're getting to understand, how social media can be a little bit on you're not really sure what's actually going on behind closed doors with social media, but people can actually feel that you walk your talk and you talk the walk, you do it all. So people envy about you that you know, you are so self-sourced. You're not an individual where you need the validation. And of course, because you don't need it, you seem to get it, right? I'm hearing that you stay very true to yourself, right? With this prayer, and, you know, when the thumbs press into the sternum, I'm reminded of the heart chakra and just like the vibrations of chanting and mantras. So you really are, you're really about expressing your truth and standing firmly in who you are, regardless of, you know, if people understand it or not. So what else is coming up? We have the devil. People are envious about you. You know, you're probably also extremely attractive. You probably bring out, again, we have this interesting dichotomy of people are they're so taken aback by you. And I feel like you're one of those individuals where people really love to be around you because you bring out the best in them. They just feel so good. They can feel your connection to source. They can feel all the unearthing that you've done to be where you are. However, at the same time, like you bring out those comparisons. You bring out the unworthiness in other people. You are an individual that others can't help but compare themselves to. Even if you are, you know, you have really great connections, really great friendships. Like you're the type of being that, you know, the types of individuals you're attracted to always have in the back of their mind. They're like, can I get some of that? Or like, that would be nice to have this person as my long-term partner. And the people, your closest friends, your closest type of, friends, platonic friendships or relationships, they can't help but in your presence feel and be exposed those lingering threads of illusion, right? And I feel like for the most part, even if you're in a place where you have very mature connections and beings that wouldn't necessarily take it out on you or act out that negative karma or act on those negative projections or those misperceptions, that people just can't help but feeling a certain type of way when they're around you, again, because it's like I'm hearing they can't crack the code. It's like even in the times where you're feeling the most insecure and you're feeling the most down on yourself, like you still shine. And so people are really envious about, like, this is literally the card, like the little green man. This is literally the card of envy. Like, I feel like on one hand, I'm not sure if you guys have large platforms or what's going on, or if, you know, you have people that are consistently watching you, but it seems like, you know, even the people that dislike you the most understand that it's because, like, a deeper part of them understand it's because they feel a huge comparison to you. And again, it's just because you've done so much unearthing. It's like you don't even have to try. This person doesn't even have to try. And things seem to come so easy. They seem so fulfilled on every level. It's like, you know, on one hand, of course, you know, we have protection, we have our guides. It's like people are unknowingly sending you the evil eye, you know, but just understand what we put out into the universe is always a reflection of our own inner world. So whatever we try to send to someone else comes back to us 10 times over. So next we have the Hanged Man. So yeah, you just seem like, again, like you don't try hard. People are envious of you because it seems like everything comes so easy to you. You don't have to try with things. It seems like you are so removed from your reality, like you couldn't care less about things. And for some reason, because of that, things end up happening in your favor time and time again. You seem very suspended. You seem very trusting of life. And again, we had that notion, like people envy the fact that you can fall down, or you can appear to fall down, you can appear to fail, and you bounce back up even quicker. Because, you know, that's just a reflection. That's why we hear that cheesy saying of why, you know, when people win the lottery who haven't worked on it or earned it themselves, why they lose it so quickly. And then you have these billionaires who have gotten themselves to that place organically. They can lose $1 billion and then have it back, you know, a year later, you know, a lot of the times even less. It's because they've done that organic unearthing, right? So it's, on one hand, we have this individual that has gotten to the end before they've gone through that process of transmutation and transformation, right? And then we have beings that have gone through that process every step of the way. So it's not hard that when they appear to fall off, that they're right back where they started in a short amount of time. And even more so, they end up being catapulted even farther than they were before. So that is one of the main reasons. I feel like there's a lot. You guys are also coming across like you're very physically attractive as well, whatever your body type is, right? I don't like Western standardized, versions of beauty. I love how the East and like Ayurveda look at, you know, the three primary types of body and mind constitutions of Pitta, Kapha, Vata. So whatever your organic constitution is that you came in with within this incarnation, that was exactly what it needed to be for you to experience reality in whatever way you needed to experience it. I'm hearing that you work it, you own it, that you look so beautiful, you look so handsome. You know I have a mixture of men and women that are drawn to my videos. So no matter what your constitution is, no matter what your gender is, no matter what you would identify or disidentify with, like, you work it. You look so good in whatever you're doing, whatever form, whatever shape you take. So again, this is just like, yeah, people worship you. Like, you are an individual that, you know, when you have partners, when you have lovers, they literally would worship the ground that you walk on. And I'm hearing that you have a lot of individuals that would love to show you how well they would treat you, right? Because you are just such a catch on so many levels. And so lastly, here we have the Seven of Pentacles. So I'm just, honestly, it's interesting. I'm seeing this as a bunch of eyes, or a bunch of, like, I'm seeing these as different entities, like, looking at this beautiful goddess. Also, you guys seem to be very contemplative types of individuals with the Temple here and this Seven of Pentacles. You know, the 7 cards represent looking back, or just kind of contemplating our different choices, or contemplating what's brought us to where we are. And so there's a level of depth to you that, you know, you can't fake. You cannot fake the authenticity that you guys bring to the table. And so ultimately, I feel like you guys are the type of individual that, you know, when people are right with themselves and people are also actively on their path and also, you know, within the same realms as you, there's a lot less of that competitive nature. Not to say those chords won't still be strummed, because that's, you know, let's be real. The collective, the average levels of consciousness on our planet at this time support competitiveness and comparison, etc. So those chords might be strummed, of course, but what I'm hearing, it's essential for you to know that your closer dynamics and those beings that are within the same realms as you guys are here to kind of undo that karma within the dynamic. Even if you never talk about it, you can be aware if it's there, you can be aware if those chords are activated. You guys are here to help undo that karma, because as you do it within your dynamic, your individual, seemingly separate container that affects the state of the consciousness of the rest of the planet. So ultimately, it's like, yeah, you guys are literally the whole package. So I'm not surprised why, you know, there might be some envious eyes on you. But ultimately, I'm hearing at the end of the day that you are someone that other people want on their team. You are someone that people see themselves succeeding with. You are someone that, you know, whether it's a lover, whether it's a friend, whatever, people on social media, people, you know, at the grocery market, whatever, there's something about you that people are like, when they come into contact with your field and when they hear you speak, when they're just around your energy, they feel that this is an individual that's going somewhere. This is someone that is going somewhere big. And again, we had that come through at the beginning of the reading, where Spirit, you know, kind of reiterated that even adults, when you were younger, that were around you, were like, ooh, that, you know, there's some wisdom behind this person, behind this entity, and they're definitely going to go somewhere. So I wanted to end with the card at the bottom of the deck, something that you might not be seeing, again, which is, I guess, kind of this whole reading of why people envy you. But, you know, just kind of to drive it home, we have the King of Cups coming through here. So you sit on your motherfucking throne. You are just an individual that seems to really know who you are. You are someone, again, this emotional fulfillment continues to reiterate yourself. Whenever I get the cups, especially 9 of Cups, most of the Cups cards, in fact, to me, reiterate an individual that is very in tune with their emotional guidance system. So it seems like you know how to navigate your realms very well. You're very connected. I'm so sorry. I got a piece of hair stuck in my eye. You are extremely connected to your emotional guidance system and your intuition. You're very emotionally fulfilled. You seem genuinely happy. You seem genuinely content with life. And no matter how things look on the outside, no matter how, you know, basic we can go across these social media platforms and sometimes think, oh, everything looks the same. It's like there's a level of depth to you that people can feel that you're on a very unique path, and there's something that you know, not that anyone knows more or less than anyone else, or has access, I should say, to any more or less wisdom than another, but it's like you have really integrated and embodied certain principles to an extent that people really know you're not someone to fuck around with, and that, you know, they don't want to be on your bad side. And I feel like that only comes out when firm boundaries need to be reestablished or something has been crossed. But I just feel like you're someone that, you know, one of the reasons people are envious of you is like you hold your own. And I feel like you have kind of proven time and time again that no matter what the hell comes your way, you will come back 1,000 times better than you were before. So it's like when people are kind of like, when people are kind of like happy that you fell, they're devastated. There are some people here that are extremely devastated to see how far you rise and how you actually utilize that, right? Which is the true nature of a true spiritual being, is someone that sees everything that happens in life as a vehicle for transcendence. And so you are absolutely an individual that does that. It's like you continue to rise. You are a king, you are a queen in your own right. And yeah, you have a lot of eyes on you for sure. And more so, I don't just want to leave this off by saying you have a lot of haters, because I feel like you also have a lot of individuals that genuinely, deeply love you and appreciate you for the light that you bring, for the love that you embody, because it just seems like wherever you go, you leave a wake of beauty and a wake of connection and a wake of just true compassion. You really out here changing lives, man. So thank you for being part of my channel. I feel so honored to have done this reading for you. And I hope this finds you well. Know that I have a year's worth of other readings on my primary channel. That's in the description box. I'm also offering a one-on-one 5-week coaching program on spirituality, illuminating the inner world in order to align with your highest timeline based off of your soul's blueprint, your true nature, your natural constitution. So I hope this finds you well, and I hope I see you soon. What's up, group number 2? Here is your reading on why others are envious of you. So let's get into it. We're going to do tarot real time. I'm going to shuffle them. I already shuffled them, but I'm going to draw them real time with you. So what makes others envious of you? So we're going to start with these 2 archetype cards. We have Gnosis and the Venom. All right. So right away, what makes others envious of you? Okay, so the Venom is honestly one of my favorite cards within this archetype deck because, you know, coming from someone that has had kind of a difficult time in life speaking truth, even when I understand that, or I feel my perceptions are a bit more expanded than others and a bit more uniting and a bit less divisive than those around me growing up, I used to bite my tongue, right? And so what I love about this card in particular, and what I feel like others envy about you, is that you know how to use the venom in a way that helps other people cut through their bullshit, right? And so that's something others envy about you, but that's also something that people are honestly, they kind of are on their best behavior and hearing around you. Because you have Gnosis alongside this, I am reading this in a much more positive light. Gnosis is about knowing. Gnosis is about, you know, understanding like the esoterics of things. And, you know, these are my mystics. These are master metaphysicians. These are individuals that, you know, these are advanced souls that come in on a planet of toddler souls, of baby souls. And there's no judgment here, right? We've all been there. But you are an individual where I feel like one of the things that people envy about you is you are just kind of cutthroat in your delivery. And maybe there is a way that, or there's a reason why you are where you are, or that you are the way that you are, is what I should say. But, you know, there's this great saying that I learned in this intensive Ayurveda course that I'm currently taking. And, you know, the teacher essentially said that the greatest medicines on our earth, you know, on this planet, can be used and can be turned into poison, right? And the greatest poisons on this planet, when used in a specific context or in the right way, can also be the greatest medicine. So I feel like you're an individual, people envy the fact that you are not afraid to call it how you see it. And that's not even within other people, but it's because you have this kind of I just heard cutthroat, but it doesn't feel like cutthroat in a way where it's condescending or in a way where it is like debilitating to someone's sense of self. It's like you are an individual where you are unafraid to look at things as they truly are. You're unafraid to look at yourself as you truly are. And because of that, you know, you just have this air of authority around you. I'm also hearing that it seems like no matter what other people say, like it does not get under your skin. And I get that we're all human, but because I'm getting such an indication of an extremely advanced soul, I'm so honored and blessed by the beings that are drawn to this channel. And to be able to tap in and to read for you guys and to just reflect back to you, right? Your beauty and just your wisdom. But you guys, it's like things roll off of you, not because you're putting on a front, or it's not like you're trying to not let things affect you, right? It's like because your levels of perception are so close to truth, or they're much more expanded, I should say, than the average levels of perceptions on the planet at this time, it's easy for shit to roll off. You know that, you know, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you kind of thing. It's like you understand, deeply feel, and are aware that when people have things to say about you, that it is ultimately a reflection of how they see the world and ultimately a reflection of how they see themselves, right? We're all just, whenever we express and share, we're only just offering glimpses of how we experience the nature of reality, right? So even then, so when we think we're giving someone else feedback, it actually says much more about the individual giving the feedback than it actually does about the person receiving it, right? And so you're an individual that I feel like no matter what someone has to say about you, no matter, you know, how many times people have tried to cut you down, and no matter how many fake friends you had or whatever, it's like you are an individual that you fly through the bullshit. I mean, look at this little bird. I just see this bird flying through all this rungs. It's like you have no problem like making your way through the debris, through the darkness, right through the garbage, and ultimately turning that into something beautiful with all these colors here. It's like you're able to see. Gnosis reminds me of understanding the laws of duality and the laws of polarity on the planet. And, you know, I feel like that's one of the reasons, like you're an individual, someone envy that you are not afraid of your shadows. Someone envy that you are not afraid to, again, look yourself eye to eye, right? Just getting overall that you're an individual that kind of exudes this energy of like, if you're going to be around me, then I expect a level of accountability to yourself. Like, I expect you to, you know, understand that if you're coming at me because you think I triggered something in you, that you need to understand that I understand, and I need you to understand that it's not ultimately about you, or it's not ultimately about me, I should say. So when you trigger me, I know that's a me thing, right? And so you're the type of individual that you expect other people to understand that. Not to say that they can't come to you and talk to you about it, but yeah, people are just... people seem to be just very, and envious might even be too strong for this, but they're almost like in awe. It's like when they see how you operate and they see how things don't, the things that would bring most people down are fuel for your motherfucking path and your fire, man. But again, you're just so beyond. Yeah. Very understanding. You guys really see through this, see through the veils. So I'm going to see what the tarot has to say. Why do others envy this group? Okay. We have the Four of Cups. We had a lot come up. We have the High Priestess. So I'm going to start with the ones I just saw. So we have the High Priestess and the Four of Cups. So you guys are very tuned in. Even if someone tried to pull the wool over, like there's no pulling the wool over with you. I'm hearing that you others envy. It's almost like I feel like you might have left some people resentful a little bit. And again, you're like, okay, that sounds like a you problem and not a me problem. But it's like you don't accept cups. Like you don't just accept things from just anyone. And, you know, this is not to say that not a compassionate person. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's just like, I feel like you're someone that kind of knows your worth, kind of knows what you have to offer. And so you don't just accept the nilly-willy from just anyone. It's like you expect this, again, that certain kind of like, you expect the best and you expect the highest out of other people. You know, not to say that they're not human, but it's like putting their humanity in the proper context and balancing that with the divinity. I'm also really drawn to the fact that there's a lot of eyes on the cloak of this priestess. So kind of reiterating the fact that you have a lot of eyes on you. I have been getting this very mysterious type of energy. So I feel like people are kind of envious about this kind of, you have a very alluring nature, right? You draw people in, you make people want to get to know you. I'm seeing like long hair. I'm seeing like darker hair, dark red hair, black hair, you know, whether you're male or female, but overall, I'm just seeing darker features or even like olive skin, but darker features, something that feels very, or just like very striking, like striking eyes. But I was seeing with this venom, I was seeing fangs. So it's kind of like there's something about you that others envy, the sense that you seem so kind of primal in a way, but also like you are really embodying these levels of polarity. Like your expression within itself is kind of showing the dance of what it means to be an awakened being on the planet, which is like you can't pinpoint, you can't put them in a box, you can't expect behavior to be the same. It's like on one hand, you're always going to follow your heart above all else. I did see that Ace of Cups. You're always going to follow your heart above all else, right? But people can't always predict where that's going to lead you. And so, you know, one day your seeming enemy could be, you know, your greatest ally, right? Because that's what feels right in that moment. And then, you know, vice versa. And I'm not saying you guys are out here making enemies or whatever, but that's just like what I don't have enough time to get into like breaking down the vision I just received from spirit, but just take it from me. It's like, or take it for what it's worth is what I should say. It's like, you are just, people cannot anticipate your next move. And people are envious of, no matter how much you have been misunderstood by those around you, no matter how much they wanted to see you fall when you chose a team that seemed like it was opposing theirs. You are an individual that's like, no, I choose my own motherfucking team. I am on the team of the highest. I belong to the team of the highest. And that's the reason why you don't accept things from just anyone, because not everyone can see that. Oh, I just saw 1111. Not everyone can see that when you are in alignment with the highest timeline and doing your best to follow those nudges from spirit, that it doesn't matter what it looks like. Spirit doesn't give a fuck about what the form looks like. Spirit gives more of a care about what the energetics is behind it and what you're learning, what you're extracting from it. Y'all are fiery, man. You guys, I do feel this kind of venomous, kind of like, don't mess with me, like the cobra. Like the cobra, so regal, so, you know, there's that whole notion of consistently transforming, consistently shedding skins. But like, you know, when I'm ready to strike, I'm going to strike. And y'all aren't going to have a warning all the time, you know, but just trust. It's like, I don't even feel like you're out here trying to convince people to trust you anymore. Maybe you did at some point. But again, it's because over time people see. It's like your energy and the path you have created, the life you've created speaks for itself. And it's interesting. I am seeing a correlation between like, you won't accept something from just anyone. Like whether that's an offer, whether that's love, whether that's friendship, whether that's an opportunity, like you don't accept it from just anyone. You know, you expect and you only accept invitations that will help you grow in truth, and where you're not tightening someone else's shackles of illusion around them, right? Let's see what else we have. We have the Ace of Pentacles as well, and we have the Ten of Wands. You seem to be an individual. I said this with the first group, but I mean, I feel like that might just say something about the types of individuals that are drawn to my channel, which I'm so grateful to have you guys here with me. Wow, you guys have it all. Like material plane, spiritual plane. You guys are an individual that, you know, you did not, didn't this come through in the beginning? Like there was something that got you here. And then we have the Ten of Wands coming through to confirm that. It's like you people are envious because they know how hard you've worked to be where you are. And I feel like there might have been a lot of people that have been witnessing your journey, or that have been seeing your journey, or that have been seeing you fall and then rise again and fall and rise again. And it's like people are envious of how gracefully you seem to move through these things. Again, it's like you are very attuned to what you're here for. And so, you know, the Ace of Cups is one of the cups where that reminds me about the emotional guidance system. One of my favorite Ace of Cups cards, there's a kind of a holy grail sitting in front of the heart, right? The Ace of Cups is, or the heart center, the heart chakra is the bridge between the higher chakras and the lower chakras. So it's the bridge between what's happening on the earth plane and what's happening on the spiritual plane. And so you guys seem to be able to create quite abundantly for yourself. And, you know, depending on what you guys went through in your childhood, I am seeing that come through here, with there being kind of a lot of burdens or a lot of heavy things that you took on or that you've taken on throughout your life that have activated these deep and these incredibly precise and finely tuned psychic senses, right? And ultimately, it's like you don't even get lost. I feel like you guys are an individual that you could care less. Like, you're like, what's going to set me free? What's going to set other people free? Who can I have the most fun with? Who can I create the most exciting and beautiful seminars and retreats and just experiences? Even if it's not even that, who can I create the most beautiful experiences with? And, you know, who is going to be on this path of authentically setting each other free, which sometimes that doesn't always mean we are, you know, it doesn't always mean that we are not being brave, that we are not looking at ourselves, or that we are, you know, bypassing those areas and those pockets where we are operating from cords of illusion, ultimately. So I wanted to finish off with bottom of the deck, something else that you might not be seeing, something else that others are envious about you. We have the Queen of Pentacles coming through. So again, I'm just seeing this extremely beautiful bridge between the spiritual realms and the earth realms. We also have the World come up. We have the Two of Wands coming up. I'm seeing a lot of extremely powerful energies coming up here. It's like you are the type of individual that people want on their team. You are the type of individual, just saw 555 or 1555. You are the type of individual that others, they know that you have done the work. They know that you're not just feeding them bullshit. They know that you are not just out here giving lip service. Like, you have done the transformation, and your energy speaks volumes to that. And because of it, you don't put up with bullshit. Because of it, you're not afraid to call people, you know, call people out when they are overstepping a line, or, you know, even if you're not verbally saying it, like when you withdraw your energy from someone, I feel like they feel it and they regret it. And not like we're out here wanting to make people regret things or anything, but I mean, you are a natural teacher wherever you go. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. People are learning from you. People are taking note of how you navigate these realms. Ultimately, people are envious of the fact that you make this entire dance look so beautiful and so badass. Like, you are the embodiment of the hero's journey. And I feel like when in scenarios where most people might want to give up, or might take long pauses, or even might just want to take the bait of their negative self-talk, right, that they might have heard from, or they might have accepted when they were younger, it's like you use that shit as fuel. You're like, no, I know that this ain't it. And I'm so much more than this, and I'm going to utilize this as my process of purification, as my process of transformation. And what we know, that process is not always enjoyable. It doesn't always feel good, but you are not afraid to go there. And that is something that people not only envy, but they admire so much about you. So I hope this reading resonated with you today. If it did, check out other readings on my channel. I have about a year's worth of other tarot readings on my primary channel. This is my secondary channel just for divination now. Also be aware that I offer one-on-one 5-week coaching program, a one-on-one 5-week coaching program, all about illumination and illuminating the inner world in order to align with your highest timeline. So let me know if any of that resonates. If not, leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, and I hope I see you soon. What's up, pile number 3? Here is your reading for what others envy about you. So we're going to do tarot real time. I have pre-shuffled it. However, I'm going to draw the cards with you. But here's your pre-drawn cards for what others envy about you. We have the Dead End and we have the Kiss. for your archetypes. So what do others envy about you? I feel like an aspect that others envy about you is you, on one hand, are such, ooh, I'm seeing some mirroring here. So I just want to show you guys this. We have the X, or we have the LX, then we have the LX that seem to be kind of mirroring each other. Interesting, because I was getting this, you know, people envy the type of lover that you are. Or people envy your kind of free-spirited nature when it comes to love dynamics. Excuse me. I just heard kiss of death with this death end and the kiss. This dead end, I mean, and the kiss. So I feel like what people envy is that you are not afraid to walk away from things. And they envy this, but on another hand, I feel like at least people that have been on the reciprocating end of, you know, your acknowledgement of the dynamic being a dead end, they kind of envy how easy it seems for you to do that. I feel like it is mainly because they, you know, it triggers an abandonment wound in someone, or it triggers a self-worth thing in someone, right? I feel like ultimately you are the type of individual that when you are here for someone, when you're there for someone, you are so there for them. And it really seems like one of those dynamics where there are no expectations except show up as you are. And so I'm hearing that on one hand, it's like people appreciate your loyalty and they appreciate what it is you bring to the table, and they appreciate how much you help unearth things within them. And just, you know, I feel like I'm seeing laughter, and I'm seeing just like conversation that has such great synergy and things that just flow right being around someone. But at the same time, it's like people envy how easy it is for you to walk away from something and for you to not be hung up about it, right? I'm seeing how this hand seems to be surrounded by all these webs and all these, you know, it seems to be entangled. And, you know, I feel like you guys don't get entangled in petty shit. Or you do your best not to, or even if you get caught up in a little bit, it's like you don't stay there for long. And I feel like people, you know, past lovers is something that's coming through really strongly here. You have past lovers that are envious at how easy it is for you to move on because you're such a bomb lover. You're such a great partner. And again, it strums an abandonment chord in other people. But not only that, it's like they almost are afraid that it meant what you shared wasn't special or something. So people envy just how free you are. Ultimately is what it comes down to, right? When there's someone that we meet that are so, damn, these piles, I've got some high level souls drawn to these readings, man. Like this is the type of thing where it's not even like you guys aren't even leaving, or you're not running away from something. It's like you can just feel when a chapter has ended. You can feel when something is no longer serving one or more parties in the dynamic, and especially if it becomes non-serving to you, and ultimately you see it's not leading anywhere positive, you have no problem cutting ties, right? And so I think a lot of the times it's like this envy and this resentment people have for you is that like, how was it so easy to just ditch me? I meant nothing to this person. Right? I didn't mean anything. But I feel like ultimately on another part of you, your energy speaks so much louder, and your maturity, your emotional maturity speaks so much louder because, you know, it seems like you are an individual that no matter how many chapters have closed and closed doors have occurred in your lifetime, like you end up seeing that dynamic, that situation, that chapter, that job, that whatever it was, you end up seeing it in a light that is mostly positive. Right? Because you've extracted the juice. When we're properly digesting our food, it's assimilated perfectly. We're getting those nutrients, all those yummy nutrients, and it's moving through. When we're not digesting properly, we have that kind of, what is it called? Like when you burp and it feels like poison or venom or funny. This example is coming up after the past pile. So if you came here from that one, let this be your confirmation. But what is that called? Acid reflux. Right? When things are digesting properly, your you are not able to assimilate the nutrients. You're not extracting, right? And that is not just a physical thing, but you know, what happens in our physical body is very psychosomatic with our spiritual body and our emotional body, our mental body. So an individual that is not properly digesting experiences in life, you know, they're backed up. It's because they don't know how to properly assimilate and extract the nutrients, right? Or they're not going to the right sources that will help them at least find better input, or to help that digestive process become much easier. You know, and this might be some people that want to be stuck in, like, look what this person did to me, can't believe they did this to me, etc. But you're out here being like, no, like, that was beautiful, I had a great time with you, but that's just like not what's relevant for me anymore. So I feel like you guys, something others envy again is definitely, it's like they're kind of fearful of, like, God, is this person, like, this is such a great person, I would hate to, you know, be, again, I think that came through in the beginning, to be on the receiving end of this person thinking that this is not going anywhere. Okay, so let's see. We're going to get into the tarot now. We have 10 of Wands. I'm going to flip them all over. We have the Queen of Cups. We have the Hanged Man. And we have the Five of Swords. So I'm going to start with this one. Five of Swords. 5 cards in tarot are all about assessing where we're at honestly versus where we want to be. So this dead end just kind of, this just reiterates this of, like, you guys are honest about what's up. You guys don't put this kind of airy-fairy lens over what you wish things would be. I feel like it's because ultimately you understand that, you know, we have bats on here, which bats are all about death and transformation. Ultimately, you understand, you know, and you trust that on the other side of a closing is, so, you know, with the Queen of Cups and with this Hanged Man, sorry for the interruption. With this Queen of Cups and with the Hanged Man, I am seeing that you are very emotionally stable and you seem quite suspended from things. The Hanged Man, I always hear suspended. This is the card of kind of letting things go and giving it up to the universe. You're not so wrapped up in your own limited self, or, you know, the ego self. You're not so wrapped up in misperceptions, or you're not so close up to the screen of your karma, or the screen of your subconscious. Interesting that we just had scream come up. Because I feel like it almost bothers people. Like, they want to scream. It bothers people how well you seem to just navigate through life. Which you're just like, sorry, that sounds like a you problem. That's so funny. That has almost come up within every reading. It's like the thing that people seem to be most envious about those beings that are drawn to my channel are the fact that they are so untethered to and so unbothered by things that would normally drive most people into the realms of insanity. But it's like, you've been doing the work. You have been doing the motherfucking work. If I do say, you've been putting the work in. Like, you have not been messing around. You have been utilizing what your karma is here to teach you. You've been allowing it to strengthen you. You've been allowing it to purify you. You've been allowing it to do the work, right? And honestly, with all these fish, like all these fish swimming up, I feel like this is just representative of, like, you never fully close a door. I feel like you're the type of individual that you leave things open. Like, you're so beyond the realms of what many people would consider like traditional, like traditions and customs. Like, you're so beyond, like, okay, just because we seem to have been labeled and we seem to have been romantic, it doesn't mean that you have to become my enemy. It's like, that's not where you stand. But maybe many people that you're with just aren't there yet. And so they're kind of, you know, it seems they're unbothered by how unbothered you are, because they have made that to mean that you must not have actually loved them in a certain way, or you must not have actually really cared about them. But what this is telling me is that you take people wherever you go. It's like, you understand that you once connected, we're all interconnected, right? And that you can't break a connection. It's like, you know, quantum physics is showing that once two particles combine and, you know, merge, or, you know, they've kind of bumped up against each other at one point, that what one particle does is, you know, affects another particle, no matter if it's on the other end. My nose gets itchy when I'm onto something. But when it's on the other end of, you know, the planet or the universe, or it's not even the same vicinity, it's like you understand that we are all just like little aspects and beings and chapters and lessons, and we are all reflections for each other to walk each other home. And so I feel like you're the type of being what people envy about you is that you don't have, it's so interesting. It's like people are envious about you, about things that are actually quite freeing and that actually break people away from illusion. People are envious about, you know, that you are not mired by illusion and that you're not suffering to the same degree that they are, or that, you know, it's because people are in their feelings when they're with you, or when they end things with you, or when you walk away from a friendship. People are really in their feelings because they're like, well, they must not have really cared about me because they're not suffering, right? And that just goes to show where the state of consciousness or the average levels of awareness are around romantic dynamics, or just even platonic friendships, connections in general, is we think we have learned that suffering means love. How fucked up is that? You know, and so people are a little bit, because you don't suffer, people think that that means that you didn't actually love them, right? But you are just an individual that is, let's just say, above and beyond where most people sit and where most people perceive. And so you understand that to make one being and one person more special than another is doing a disservice to the entirety of humanity. Right? Even if you wouldn't put it in those words, that's intuitively kind of the levels you're living from. The paradigm you're operating from is like, I love everyone. I'm making love to everyone. Like, why does one person have to be more special than another? They don't. I feel like it's quite easy for you to make friends and to make new connections and to like make authentic connections, you know, with this Queen of Cups here. It's really easy for people to fall in love with you. And I feel like that's extremely, can be very triggering for other people that, you know, that's not necessarily within their blueprint, or, you know, maybe for the people that are really connected to you and feel like they're going to be left out in the dust, or, you know, when people are really living in alignment with their blueprint, like FOMO is not really a thing. And so it seems like, you know, these people that are envious of you at this time, it's, you know, it's just how fluidly and how freely you seem to navigate in and out of things. Again, because you're not here to prolong things. You're not here to make anything heavier for anyone else or anything more harder than it needs to be. You're here for freedom. You're here for transcendence, right? And so, you know, even if temporarily that means that someone is left in this state, or even you, I'm sure you've walked away from things before that you didn't necessarily want to end, but you understood it wasn't leading anywhere, right? So, but ultimately that shows, you know, that proves why you're sitting in this place of emotional maturity, because you understand it's not just about you. It's not just about what you want. It's about what's the greater good for all beings, right? And so it seems like, you know, people just, it's interesting that came through about how most people equate love at this point in our planet with conditions and with suffering. It's only real love if there's like a certain level of toxicity involved, right? A certain level of possession and whatever. But it's like, you're like, no, I'm not here for that bullshit. We're going to finish the bottom of the deck. We have the Fool. Why people envy you. I mean, this just kind of drives home the point of everything. It's like you are just so carefree, right? People are envious about how untethered you are, about how impulsive you are in a good way, because it always works out for you. It's like with this Dead End and the Fool card being conjunct with each other here, or next to each other, or just like amplifying each other's energies. It's like you understand that after you're like, I'm just making space for something new to come in, and you know, because that's what life is all about. We are nature. We are nature living itself out. It's, you know, it cycles. It's Earth, but it's winters, springs, summers, and falls, right? It's like we're in a consistent phase of evolution, or at least you are. And so, you know, people are envious about how easy you make it look, about how fun you make it look, and no matter how much they try to keep you from jumping off the edge of a cliff, it's like you are going to do it, right? Right. You're going to do at the end of the day what you know you need to do. We have the King of Wands underneath as well. So it's like, yeah, I just heard you don't answer to anyone on this earth plane. And that's something that people are like, wow, who does this person think that they are? You're like, I know who I am. And I don't source my validation, or I do my best to not source my validation from things that are temporal in nature. And, you know, I don't place my sense of worthiness and the ideas of man or the hands of man, because you know that at any moment that can flip when you are not meeting someone's expectations or assumptions of how you should be in order to make them happy, right? And so that just rubs people the wrong way. But it's like, man, that's someone I want on my team, right? Because then you know that you're not showing up to people or around people out of an obligation. It's because you actually want to be there. And that's what you expect from other people as well. So beautiful reading. I mean, these have all been fantastic, and I've been really loving and enjoying connecting with the energies that are on this channel. Thank you so much for being here. I have a year's worth of tarot readings on my primary channel. You can check that out in the description box. And just know that I offer a one-on-one 5-week coaching program called Illumination Sessions, where we meet twice a week at the very most, constant communication, and it's all about illuminating the inner realms in order to make space and align with what is already your highest timeline. You don't have to create it. You don't have to visualize it. It's already in place. You just have to release all the bullshit and all the garbage and all the debris that we've kind of placed in front of our ability to be that magnetic pull to that reality. So if this resonated, please leave a comment. If you feel inspired to, give this video a thumbs up, and I hope I see you soon.